A rail line carries more freight than it ever has before. The schedule says maintenance is 2 weeks away. The tracks do not know that. Maintenance decisions often look administrative. They sit inside schedules and budgets, but they carry physical assumptions about how a system will be used. The assumption was simple. A fixed number of days between inspections would distribute labor evenly. It would make planning predictable across the whole network. Post-war industrial demand was rising fast. Factories needed more raw materials. Freight volume climbed without a corresponding change to the maintenance schedule. More freight on the same track means more stress per unit of time. Calendar-based scheduling does not measure stress. It measures days. The original schedule was built when traffic was lower. It worked then. The system looked the same from the outside even as internal wear accelerated. The decision to adopt fixed interval scheduling came from a real problem. Variable inspection dates had caused crews to miss windows. Standardization solved that coordination failure. Coordination problems are real costs. Missed inspections create liability. I don't see why, extreme, though I mean to. Can please you are out of liability. The fixed schedule eliminated those misses and reduced administrative friction across the whole network. The schedule became the operating standard across every division. Other departments built their own plans around it. The interval became infrastructure itself. When a standard embeds into adjacent processes, changing it requires coordinating all those processes simultaneously. The cost of change rises with every connection added. This is called coupling. A decision couples to other decisions. Each new coupling reduces the ability to adjust one part without disturbing the rest. Traffic volume continued to grow through the mid-decade expansion. Each additional car on the line added where the schedule was not designed to absorb. Wear is not linear. Doubling traffic does not double wear at the same rate. It can accelerate wear far beyond the proportional increase in load. Inspectors worked within the schedule. Their job was to check on the assigned day. The interval itself was not their decision to question or revise. Role boundaries matter here. When the schedule is fixed above the inspector's authority, observations within the interval carry no escalation pathway. They accumulate without response. At some point, the interval that once matched usage became misaligned with actual wear rates. This is the moment the schedule stopped describing reality and started masking it. Hidden wear accumulates silently between inspections. The track looks serviceable. The schedule confirms it is not yet due. Both statements are technically accurate. Information gaps are structural here. The interval defines when data is collected. Between collections, the system operates on the last known state rather than the current one. Budget cycles reinforce the schedule. Maintenance labor was planned annually around fixed inspection dates. Changing the interval mid-cycle would disrupt approved spending allocations. Budget constraints are not irrational. They exist to prevent overspending. But when they lock maintenance intervals, they transfer physical risk into the financial future. Future videos in this series examine how similar scheduling assumptions shaped costs in other infrastructure systems. Patterns like this appear across industries and eras. A key constraint is now visible. Traffic has doubled, but the interval has not changed. The gap between wear rate and inspection frequency becomes the primary risk carrier. Risk does not announce itself. A segment can carry excess wear for months before any visible surface sign appears. The system continues operating as though nothing has changed. This is a latency problem. The consequence of a decision arrives well after the decision point. The gap between action and feedback is where undetected costs accumulate. Labor was already allocated. Crews were scheduled months in advance. Pulling a team early to inspect a segment ahead of schedule meant leaving another segment unserviced. Resource allocation systems are zero-sum at the operational level. Moving capacity to one place removes it from another. This constraint made unilateral adjustment impractical without central approval. Time kept passing. Each completed interval reset the clock without resetting the underlying physical condition. The schedule confirmed compliance. The rails recorded something different. When a segment reaches a critical wear threshold, repair costs are no longer incremental. They jump to full replacement. The cost curve is non-linear past a certain point. Replacement costs include more than materials. Track must be taken out of service. Adjacent segments are affected. Freight reroutes to other lines, increasing their load in turn. Freight rerouting transfers load to secondary lines. Those lines may carry their own deferred maintenance. The original failure creates pressure on every part it touches. This is systemic propagation. A local failure caused by a scheduling assumption spreads into adjacent systems that share physical or operational dependencies with the original line. Delivery commitments were now at risk. Contracts required specific freight to arrive within defined windows. Delays from rerouting triggered penalty clauses across multiple shippers simultaneously. Penalty clauses are liability amplifiers. They convert operational delay into legal obligation. A missed window that costs hours in logistics can cost months of revenue in contract penalties. Emergency repair crews were mobilized at off-schedule timing. Emergency labor rates are higher than planned rates. The cost of deferred inspection compounds through the premium paid to correct it. The total repair bill was not just the rail segment. It included emergency labor, rerouting costs, delivery penalties, and the administrative cost of managing the disruption network-wide. Regulators reviewed the incident. They found the interval schedule technically compliant with existing standard. The standard itself had not been updated to reflect new traffic volumes. Standards lag behind operational reality. They are written at a point in time and updated on a separate cycle. When volume changes faster than standards update, compliance becomes insufficient. The railroad was not negligent by the standards of its time. It operated within approved parameters. The parameters had not been designed to anticipate a demand shift of this scale. After the incident, the railroad introduced usage-based inspection triggers on high-traffic corridors, but existing contracts and labor agreements still constrained how quickly the new system could be applied. Transition costs are a specific category. Moving from one standard to another requires parallel operation during the changeover. That parallel operation is more expensive than either standard alone. The new standard was eventually adopted fully, but legacy segments built and maintained under the old schedule still carried deferred wear that the new inspections now had to address retroactively. Deferred maintenance does not disappear when policy changes. It is a stock of accumulated physical condition that must still be processed. Policy changes the rate of future deferral. It cannot undo the past. The total cost of the original scheduling decision only became calculable years after the decision was made. By then, it included physical, financial, legal, and reputational components simultaneously. The mechanism here is not unique to rail. Any system that uses calendar-based maintenance while operating under variable and increasing load carries the same structural exposure over time. The rail network continues to operate. Trains run on time. The costs of the decision are now embedded in the system's capital budget, carried forward as scheduled expenditure every year.